upon his maturity, to me, is between the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Everyone's focused on Jalen Hurts, and rightfully so. It's a quarterback-driven league, and I think that will be the way that they can overtake the Cowboys in the NFC East.
It feels like there's an opportunity for Joe Shane and Brian Daboll to be a little more competitive than what people would expect coming into this season, just because of the pieces that the Giants have in place, and when you look at their strength of
vacation at the moment, enjoying the summer while we are working and picking up the pieces for them.
That's it. We're carrying it for them. It's good to be here with you, though. I have a question for you.
And I may have an answer depending on the question.
I hope you usually do have an answer. This is that now we're getting into that point of the summer where the ocean water is getting warmer and warmer as you get up north, because normally it takes a while in the northern parts of the country where the ocean still stays cold. So here in New York, the Atlantic Ocean now, beachgoers, Long Island, they'll go out into the water now. Really? But now is when you find sharks, and that's starting to become a thing. Is that like in L.A.? I mean, is that also an issue in L.A.? Do you have shark issues there?
Do you see me, hon? Do I look like a guy who gets in the ocean?
Yes.
No, I don't get in the ocean, but there was a few sharks, I think, circling the other day. And I think actually it was an attack down in the Orange County area. Or maybe it was San Diego, but they come around here and there, but I would never know, because I'm the guy when the water gets to the edge and it comes up, I'm still that kid. I run out. I don't go past my ankles. So I would never know about any of that. I'm not getting out into the ocean unless I'm in the Caribbean or something like that, where I can see my feet.
You can see. Yes.
I can see clear what's around me.
This is how you and I are so much alike, because you grow up in L.A., the ocean's right there, right? I grew up on Long Island, the ocean right there. I've been to many of those ocean beaches many, many times, and I'm the same way. Once it's about over my ankles, I'm good.
And look, I look the part, right? I look like I could be one of those guys that may surf, board shorts, flip-flop, T-shirt, got the hair. I got that look. I do that on purpose. But in the end, I'm not touching the water, man.
No,
I'm just not doing it.
Well,
it's too many bad things that can happen in the bottom portion of it. I don't know what's down there.
See,
I don't know what's down there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how people are just. How do you trust? I don't know. I have trust issues to begin with. How do you possibly trust? Just like, I'm just going to dive right into that. Here comes the break. I'm diving right into that. Like, no. I'm not doing that. But if I could see, like you said, the Caribbean, you walk out into that beautiful, clear water and you see the white sand beach, I'm good there. I know what's going on down there. And when something's swimming around me, I know I could see it. But not Atlantic Ocean, no, I'm good. But I will say this. The one time when I flew out, when I was covering, I forget what team I was covering at that point, but I left JFK in a snowstorm. Mm-hmm. Landed in LAX. A friend of mine picked me up, and she's like, "Where do you want to go?" I'm like, "I just want to go to the ocean," because it was freezing in New York, and literally went right to, I think it was Manhattan Beach, took off my shoes, rolled up my pants, walked all the way out, and just stood in the water. Yeah, just because I could. I went from snow to beach, and it felt really nice. That's the one time in Pacific Ocean I went out.
It's nice to look at. It's nice to maybe touch right at the edge where the water comes and it starts to you start to see the white and the little bubbles. That's good. Yeah. Outside of that, I'm not really, I've gone in the ocean in Bora Bora, the Caribbean, places like that where I can see my ankles clear when I'm standing there, and the water can't get past my waist. If it starts to go past my waist, it's time to come on out. Yeah. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, all you need is just something to like swim by your foot or whatever. Or, step on a horseshoe crab. No, I'm good. Don't need that. But anyway, so either way, the weather is beautiful this time of year, and the surf is beautiful, as we just saw there on ESPN2. So that was nice. But meanwhile, we have sports to talk about, Key. And one thing, we got two-a-days going on, as you know, here at the network. And today's two-a-days, we've got the Commanders and the Bears. We'll do a lot of talk about Justin Fields and the Bears throughout the show, but also the Commanders and where they sit right now in the NFC East. And the quarterback story in this division is a really interesting one because each one has their own sort of pressure, don't they? With the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, it's just the annual pressure of being the Cowboys quarterback, right? I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
With the Eagles, it's Jalen Hurts and what is a good roster, and is he the answer at quarterback? And can he prove that this year? With the Giants, it's simply new coach, new GM, and Daniel Jones isn't their guy. So he's got 1 year to sort of prove whether he should be their guy or they should be looking for a new quarterback. And then Washington makes the move to bring in Carson Wentz, his third team in 3 years. And that sense of, is he ever going to find that player he was in 2017? You know, when he was an MVP candidate. Like he is like the thing that I think that catches everybody's attention is not only did the Eagles give up on him, but then the Colts in 1 year gave up on him. And so what do you expect out of Carson Wentz and the Commanders this year?
I think when you look at the 4 quarterbacks, Carson Wentz, in my opinion, is the one with the least pressure.
The least?
That's what I believe. I look at the situation as probably totally different than everybody else. The Philadelphia Eagles gave up not only on him, but on Doug Peterson. Okay? They gave up on everything. It was a mess. So when you look at that, guy was injured. He didn't play as well as he should have played when he bounced back. He had some locker room issues, clearly, with some of the players in the locker room. They didn't feel that he was all in with them in Philadelphia, so they move on from him. He goes to Indianapolis Colts in his first year. He plays okay, doesn't play great, doesn't play bad, just okay. I think if he gets a second year and a second opportunity in Indianapolis, it's a different Carson Wentz because at that point maybe he settles in. I don't know what happened there. He made a few bad mistakes that made you scratch your head and wonder what the hell are you doing when he's flipping the ball and throwing the ball and getting scared and acting a certain way. But the Washington Commanders clearly feel a certain way about Carson Wentz. They feel like he's the answer because Tyler Heinicke was the guy for the last year. So everybody's, oh, Tyler Heinicke, oh, my God, he's going to be. And they said, nah, we got to upgrade at that position. So they went out and got Carson Wentz as an upgrade. So that tells me what Ron Rivera wants to do from a defensive standpoint, getting Chase Young back, shoring up the defense. Now you say to yourself, okay, what about the offensive side of the ball? Well, we're going to run the football. We're going to get the football in the air to one guy in McLaurin. That's why we gave him the money. Other than that, that's what we're going to do on offense. We're not going to throw it 45 times. We understand Carson Wentz has talent and a big arm, but we're not going to put him in a position to screw it up. We're going to keep everything really close to the vest. That's how we're going to win games. And I think that is probably best for Carson Wentz. So with that, that's why I feel it's the least amount of pressure because they're not going to ask him to do a whole lot.
I mean, the pressure, I guess, is maybe personal for him, but for the franchise, you're saying not as much. But for him, it's about just reestablishing himself as the quarterback. But as you mentioned,
but he can reestablish himself. He can reestablish himself in this kind of run first, dink and dunk offense. He can reestablish himself by doing that because
keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple. If he gave you what Mac Jones gave the New England Patriots a year ago, people will change to start that conversation. They would start the conversation of this is the type of quarterback you need, who's not going to turn the ball over, who knows what to do. They'll start that whole thing. Then it'll catch fire. And then by the middle of to the end of the year, they'll be talking about how great of a manager Carson Wentz is. And if you need him to throw the football down the field, he's more than capable of doing it. That's, you know that whole spiel.
Yeah, of course. It's changing the narrative. Well, here's Kimberly Martin talking about Carson Wentz and whether or not he's the long-term guy in Washington.
He will be the long-term answer at quarterback because you know what? Carson now finds himself in another situation where he has a good roster. Despite what's happening in the front office with Dan Snyder, this is a franchise that is trying to turn the corner with a stable head coach, a great team president, good coaches around them, a young crop of talent. They just re-signed Terry McLaurin, so you'd hope that Carson will figure it out. But Carson's issue has never been about the talent.
Exactly it. Carson Wentz going to need to get in the zone to win the division for the Commanders. Get in the zone is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. So you feel like he is the least amount of pressure on him in that division. So there's 4 quarterbacks who are feeling some type of pressure, and then we move on to one who doesn't, but not for the right reason.